ॐ शुक्लांभरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वतीपरमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीलदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning everyone. Welcome to the class.
Good morning, Rajesh.
Good morning. So 33, we'll do a quick review. Matangi, will you be able to do 33?
Om Krishnaya Parabrahma. Dasakam 33, Ambarisha Charitam. Can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Vaivasvatake Manu पुत्र नाभग जाता नाभाग नामक नरेन्द्र सुतं वरीशः सप्तार्णवावृतमही दैत्योऽपि रेमे तत्सङ्गिषु त्वयि च मग्नमानसदैव त्वत्प्रीतिये सकलमेव विदन्वतोऽस्य भक्त्यैव देव न चिरात् पृथः प्रसादम् येनास्य याचनमृतेऽपि विरक्षणार्थं चक्रं भवान् प्रतिविदधातर सहस्रधारम्
Prabhitatar, the fourth line. Prabhitatar.
प्रवितधार सहस्रधारम् स्वद्वादशी व्रतमतो भवत् अर्चनार्थं वर्षं ददो मधुवेन यमुनोपकान्ते पत्न्या समं सुमनसा महितिं वितन्वन् पूजां द्वदेषु विसृजन् पशुशक्तिकोटिम् तात्रात् पारनदीन् भवत् दर्शनान्ते दुर्वाससास्य मुनिना पवनं प्रपेते प्रोक्तं वृतश्च स नृपणेन परार्थिशीलो मन्दं जगाम यमुनां नियमान् विदास्यन् राज्ञात् पारणमुहूर्त समाप्तिकीदात् पारैव पारणमकारि भवत्परेण प्राप्तो मुनिस्तदत दिव्यदर्श विजानन् क्षिप्यन् कृतो धृतजतो वितानकृत्याम् कृत्यां च ताम् अश्रिताम् असिधरां भुवनां दहन्तीम् आग्रे सुवीक्ष्य नृपत्रेण पादाश्च कम्पे त्वद्भक्तबाधाम् अभिवीक्ष्य सुदर्शनं ते कृत्यानलं शलभयन् मुनिमन् वदावीत् धावन्नशेष भुवनेषु बियाश्च पश्यन् विश्वर्त चक्रमपि ते गतवान् विरिञ्चम् कक्कालचक्रम् अतिलङ्घयतीतपास्तः शर्वं ययुश्च भवन्तम् अवन्दातैव भूयो भवन्निलयम् एतमुनिं नमन्तम् प्रोचे भवान् हमृषि ननु भक्तदासः ज्ञानां तपश्च विनयान् वितमेव मान्यम् याह्यं बरीश पदमेव भजेति भूमन् तावत् समेत्य मुनिना स गृहीतपादो राजाप्यश्रुत्य भवत् असावनौषीत् चक्रे गते मुनिरदात् अखिलाशिषोऽस्मै तावत् भक्तिमागसि कृतेऽपि कृपां च संशन्.
And the fourth line, first word, tvad bhaktim.
நான் தப்பா லைன் போட்டுருக்கேன்.
Tavad, you said tavad or something. Tvad bhaktim agasi.
Tvad bhaktim. Tvad bhaktim agasi कृतेऽपि कृपां च संशन्. राजा परीक्ष्य मुनिन् एक समा मनाश्वान् साम्भोज्य साधु सम्ऋषिं विसृजन् प्रसन्नम् भुक्त्वा स्वयं त्वयि ततोऽपि धृतं रतोऽभूत् सायुज्यमापश्च स मां पवनेश पायाः. Sri Krishna.
Very good. The first line, last stanza, first line, second word, pratikshya. Raja pratikshya. Okay.
Pratiksha. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So we'll continue with 39 today. So I think we finished up to 7 stanzas, right? Okay. All right. Sujata garu, you can be student, and Usha garu, you can be student today. First half. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Thanks, Sam. Yeah.
okay. So we'll start with stanza 8. ततः पशुपमन्दिरे त्वयि मुकुन्दनन्दप्रिया प्रसूतिशयने शये रुदति किञ्चिदञ्चत्पदे विबुध्य वनिता जनैः तनयसम्भवे घोषिते मुदा किमु वदाम्यहो सकलमाकुलं गोकुलम्. So we saw in this 39 so far about how Vasudeva was able to take Krishna over and then get Yogamaya, the Devi, into Mathura. And then when Kamsa saw that, and then he tried to snatch the baby away from Devaki's arms and tried to smash the baby onto the stone. The baby then left his hands and then went up on the sky, or he did not touch the earth. And then she told him, she showed her form with the 8 hands, and then said that the one who is destined to kill you is already born. So you're wasting your time trying to kill all these other children. And then she disappears, right? And then Kamsa then frees Devaki and Vasudeva. That's what happened. And then, however, the next morning we saw how his associates, the Pralamba, Baka, Putana, and everybody, however, started triggering him, saying that, you know what, that baby is already born somewhere, then we should definitely go get rid of that baby. Otherwise, it's going to come back to haunt you again, right? So they kind of start getting into that. So that's kind of all what's happening in Mathura. So now, like a movie, we're going to now switch scenes now. From now, everything that is going to be happening is going to be happening in Gokulam and in the other areas, right? So now in Gokulam, like we're talking about how the Ashtami Krishna was born, and in the Navami, when that happened, transition happened in the morning. That was when the girl was born in Gokulam. But however, because it happened in the wee early hours of the morning, everybody had become very tired, and also because of Yogamaya putting everybody to sleep, nobody realized that the baby was born, and also if they realized the baby was born, but nobody knew what the gender of the baby was. So suddenly in the early hours of morning, they start seeing this a cry coming out from the infant room. So Shayane Shaye, from the labor room, they started seeing hearing some noise coming of a baby crying. That's when everybody starts rushing into the room to see Yashoda there. And then lying next to Yashoda, they see you, they see you as a infant. You who is Mukunda, the one who gives liberation is called Mukunda. You lying in the form of a child, kicking your feet like any baby does. And then they got extremely happy because now they realized that a boy has been born to Nandagopa, because Nandagopa was the head of the Gopas, of the cowherd folks, right? So they're all extremely happy that a boy has been born, and the whole area is now rejoicing. So tataha is there, put a F. Tataf Pashupa Mandire Tvai Mukunda Nanda Priya, put a plus. Prasuti Shayane Shaye Rudati Kinchit Anchat Pade Vibudhya Vanita Janaihi. So that is there, you remove it, put a visarga comma, Vanita Janaihi. Tanaya Sambhave Ghoshite, comma, Muda Kimu Vadamyaho, comma, Sakalamakulam Gokulam. ततः पशुपमन्दिरे त्वयि मुकुन्दनन्दप्रिया प्रसूतिशयने शये रुदति किञ्चिदञ्चत्पदे विबुध्य वनिता जनैः तनयसम्भवे घोषिते मुदा किमु वदाम्यहो सकलमाकुलं गोकुलम्.
ततः पशुपमन्दिरे त्वयि मुकुन्दनन्दप्रिया प्रसूतिशयने शये रुदति किञ्चिदञ्चत्पदे विबुध्य वनिता जनैः तनयसम्भवे घोषिते मुदा किमु वदाम्यहो सकलमाकुलं गोकुलम्. ततः पशुपमन्दिरे त्वयि मुकुन्दनन्दप्रिया प्रसूतिशयने शये रुदति किञ्चिदञ्चत्पदे विबुध्य वनिता जनैः तनयसम्भवे घोषिते मुदा किमु वदाम्यहो सकलमाकुलं गोकुलम्.
ततः पशुपमन्दिरे त्वयि मुकुन्दनन्दप्रिया प्रसूतिशयने शये रुदिति किञ्चिदञ्चत्पदे विभूत्य वनिता जनैः तनयसम्भवे घोषिते मुदा किमु वदाम्यहो सकलमाकुलं गोकुलम्.
Sugar, that fourth line after Vadamyaho, there is a comma, okay?
Oh, sorry. Okay. ततः पशुपमन्दिरे त्वयि मुकुन्दनन्दप्रिया प्रसूतिशयने शयेरुदिति किञ्चिदञ्चत्पदे विभूत्यवनिता जनैः तनयसम्भवे घोषिते मुदा किमु वदाम्यहो सकलमाकुलं गोकुलम्.
The second line, middle word, rudati. I think you said rudi or something, right? You have rudati.
Rudati. Okay. Yeah.
Stanza 9. अहो खलु यशोदया नवकलाय चेतोहरं भवन्तमलमन्तिके प्रथममापि बन्त्यादृशा पुनस्तनभरं निजं सपदि पाययन्त्या मुदा मनोहरतनुस्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तोजिताः. So here Bhattaripad is telling, and even Bhagavatam also describes very beautifully, saying everybody in this world struggles so much to even make sure that the Lord hears you once or responds to you in some way. And most of us, I'm assuming here, haven't seen the God directly, right? In the form of Chaturbhujam or something like that, right? And all these saints, they perform so much tapas, and they are all struggling so much, but nobody is having the chance to even see the Lord or touch the Lord, right? However, he says, but this Yashoda, what punyam has she done? Right? She has done so much punyam because lying right next to her is this baby who is in the form of a navakala, in the form of a very beautiful dark blue hue flower, who is actually lying. And then more importantly, she is able to caress that baby, she's able to touch that baby, she's able to embrace that baby, and she's able to breastfeed that baby, right? Because the baby is just newborn, so Yashoda starts breastfeeding. So Bhattaripad says she's so blessed. But it's not just Bhattaripad, right? Even Shuka Brahmam in Bhagavatam goes and asks, asks the same question to Shuka Brahmam. Says, people are doing so much tapas. How is it this Yashoda is getting so much, what has she done? What tapas has she done? That she's now able to get the Lord himself as her own baby. She can hug the baby, she can touch the baby, she can do all these things. What tapas has she done, right? So, and there's also a very nice Tamil song also. So we have Minu here, we'll have Minu sing that song some other time about Enna Tavam Seidane, what Tavam has Yashoda done, that she's able to do all this, right? So Shuka Brahmam responds to this, saying that it is not like a normal tapas that you or I do. Says there, but then he talks about the story of two people called as, Drona and Drona and Dhara. Drona is the name of the husband, Dhara is the name of the wife. They do extreme tapas. They are demigods. They do a lot of tapas. And then Brahma finally comes in front of them one day and says, what do you want? So instead of asking for complete liberation, they say, we want to be associated with the Lord in a parental form, to be able to embrace that love with the child, right? That is the form of love we want with the Lord. And then anytime the Lord takes birth, he says, we also want to be associated. So the Brahma says, that will be it. Because he says, like when you see all these drama troupes which go from city to city, right? So when they come from India, they come and perform, right? Similarly, when the Lord himself incarnates in various places, he doesn't pick the local people as troops. I'm just giving a very crude example, right? So he brings the same troop every time. So when Lord Rama comes, there are a set of people who come with Lord Rama. When Krishna comes, a set of people come with Krishna. They are the same set of people who all take different roles when they actually come, but they are always an extension of the Lord himself. So Shuka Brahmam really clarifies this to Parikshit, saying that you or me doing a few tapas for hundreds of years is not going to get us that position. These are people who have done tapas for thousands of years. They are nothing but an extension of the Lord himself. So when the Lord comes as an avataram or an incarnation, he brings those same people along with him to play the various roles. Right? So, as we all saw in the 37th chapter also, how even the Gopas, who we are going to see later, the Gopikas, who we are going to see later, are nothing but the demigods and the sages as wives who have actually taken birth. So that's how they explain the context of how Yashoda has done so much tapas. That's why she is blessed, and not like normal mortals, right, who do some tapas and immediately get that blessing. So there's a very beautiful explanation that is given there. Anyway, here Bhattaripad is also saying that she has done what? Punyavanto jitaha. She has done a lot of punyam here. So aho khalu yashodaya nava kalaya chetoharam, comma, bhavantam alam antike, if you want to break it, bhavantam alam antike, pratamam api bantya drisha, punaha, put is punas stanabharam nijam sapadi payayantya muda, comma, मनोहर तनु स्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तो जिताः अहो खलु यशोदया नवकलाय चेतोहरं भवन्तमलमन्तिके प्रथममापि बन्त्यादृशा पुनस्तनभरं निजं सपदि पाययन्त्या मुदा मनोहरतनुस्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तो जिताः
अहो खलु यशोदया नवकलाय चेतोहरं भवन्तमलमन्तिके प्रथममापि बन्त्यादृशा पुनस्तनभरं निजं सपदि पाययन्त्या मुदा मनोहरतनुस्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तो जिताः अहो खलु यशोदया नवकलाय चेतोहरं भवन्तमलमन्तिके प्रथममापि बन्त्यादृशा पुनस्तनभरं निजं सपति पाययन्त्या मुदा मनोहरतनुस्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तो जिताः
अहो खलु यशोदया नवकलाय चेतोहरं भवन्तमलमन्तिके प्रथममापि पन्थ्यादृशा पुनस्तनभरं निजं सपदि पाययन्त्या मुदा मनोहरतनुस्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तो जिताः अहो खलु यशोदया नवकलाय चेतोहरं भवन्तमलमन्तिके प्रथममापि पन्थ्यादृशा पुनस्तनभरं निजं सपदि पाययन्त्या मुदा मनोहरतनुस्पृशा जगति पुण्यवन्तो जिताः
Stanza 10. भवत्कुशलकाम्यया सखलु नन्दगोपस्तथा प्रमोदभरसङ्कुलो द्विजकुलाय किन्ना ददात् तथैव पशुपालकाः किमु न मङ्गलं ते निरे जगत्त्रतयमङ्गल त्वमिह पाहि मामामयात्. Then not only Yashoda felt happy, but even Nanda Gopa also. So he was also overwhelmed with joy, right? And then he says he didn't know what to do because he was so happy. So he then called all the Brahmins and then they conducted the birth ceremony of the Lord. So we're going to see later in 44th the naming ceremony, which is different. But the birth ceremony, he called all the Brahmins and they conducted all the Vedic rituals and he gave anything and everything that people wanted. So that's why he said, Kinna Dadad, what all did he not give? So he gave everything that he had because he was extremely happy. And then they also performed all these auspicious things for your Mangalam, for your auspiciousness. And however, Bhattacharya says, you who is Jagat Tritaya Mangala, you who confers auspiciousness on all the three worlds, for your auspiciousness, Nanda Gopa is doing all these rites, right? So he kind of making a joke out of that, saying, please, Tomiha Pahi Mama Maya, please eradicate all the ailments and save me from all of the diseases. Bhavat Kushala Kamyaya Sakhalu Nanda Gopas Tada, Pramoda Bhara Sankulo Dvija Kulaya Kinna Dadat Tataiva Pashupalakaha, put the ihs on Pashupalakah Kimu na Mangalam Tenire, Jagat Tritaya Mangala, Tomiha Pahi Mama Mayat. Bhavat Kushala Kamyaya Sakhalu Nanda Gopastadha Pramoda Bhara Sankulo Dvijakulaya Kinna Dadat Tataiva Pashupalakah Kimuna Mangalam Tenire Jagat Tritaya Mangala Twamiha Pahi Mama Mayat.
भवत्कुशलकाम्यया सखलु नन्दगोपस्तदा प्रमोदभरसङ्कुलो द्विजकुलाय किन्ना ददात् तथैव पशुपालकाः किमु न मङ्गलं ते निरे जगत्त्रितयमङ्गलत्वमिह पाहि मामामयात् भवत्कुशलकाम्यया सखलु नन्दगोपस्तदा प्रमोदभरसङ्कुलो द्विजकुलाय किन्ना ददात् तथैव पशुपालकाः किमु न मङ्गलं ते निरे जगत्त्रितयमङ्गल त्वमिह पाहि मामामयात्
भवत्कुशलकाम्यया सखलु नन्दगोपस्तदा प्रमोदभरसङ्कुलो द्विजकुलाय किन्ना ददात् तथैव पशुपालकाः किमु न मङ्गलं ते निरे जगत्त्रितयमङ्गल त्वमिह पाहि मामामयात्. भवत्कुशलकाम्यया स खलु नन्दगोपस्तदा प्रमोदभरसङ्कुलो द्विजकुलाय किन्ना ददात् तदैव पशुपालकाः किमु न मङ्गलं ते निरे जगत्त्रितयमङ्गल त्वामिह पाहि मामयात्
Tvamiha, that fourth line. Tvamiha. Yeah.
Twamiha. Thanks.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Complete 39. We'll move on to 40. So 14 is Putana Moksham. So this Putana Moksham spans over 40 and 41. So this time we'll do 40, we'll do 41 in the last session. So stanza 1. तदनु नन्दममन्दशुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगाद भवत्पिता विदितकंससहायजनोद्यमः. So now Krishna is born. Now this word Putana has two parts to it. One is Putana. So one is Putana. Puta is referring to virtue, and Na means no. So this Putana means someone who has no virtue, right? So there is a backstory about this Putana, right? Which is I read. I don't know how true that is, because it is not there in Bhagavatam. It is there. It was there somewhere else, where it talked about how when the Vamana avataram happened, and the Lord came in the form of Vamana, which was a dwarf, to Mahabali. Then there was this Mahabali's daughter was there, Princess Ratnamala, who then saw the boy and she got a lot of motherly affection towards that boy. And she said, I want a boy like that, right? So she really loved that boy and wished to have a child like that. However, when Vamana then got rid of Mahabali, then she got very angry about it. So she wanted to get rid of that boy as well, right? So that's why she appears as Putana now, who comes like a mother, but who actually hates the child and wants to get rid of the child, right? That is the context here. So anyway, so now Vasudeva, now there back in Mathura, Vasudeva Devaki have been released, right? Kamsa is already released. So Nandagopa is going to Mathura right now to pay his taxes, because he's part of that Gokul area. He's the leader. So when he goes, and because he and Vasudeva are friends, Vasudeva comes to meet Nanda, and and then he comes and tells him, about all the atrocities that Kamsa is doing and all that. Vasudeva is sharing with Nandagopa about everything that is happening in Mathura. तदनु नन्दममन्ध शुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगाद भवत्पिता विदित कंस सहाय जनोद्यमः. तदनु नन्दममन्द शुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगाद भवत्पिता विदित कंस सहाय जनोद्यमः.
तदनु नन्दममन्द शुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगाद भवत्पिता विदितकंससहाय जनोद्यमः. तदनु नन्दममन्द शुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगाद भवत्पिता विदितकंससहाय जनोद्यमः.
तदनु नन्दमन्दसुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगदा भवत्पिता विदितकंससहाय जनोद्यमः.
We should go to that first line. Tadanu nandamamanda.
Okay.
2 marks there.
Okay. तदनु नन्दममन्दसुभास्पदं नृपपुरीं करदानकृते गतं समवलोक्य जगाद भवत्पिता विदितकंससहाय जनोद्यमः.
Stanza 2. ऐसके तव बालक जन्म मां सुकयतीत्य निजात्मज जन्मवत् इति भवत्पितृताम्रजनायके समधिरोप्य शशंसतमाधरात्. So here then Vasudeva is asking Nandagopa about inquiring about everything. How is Yashoda? How is Rohini, his wife, who is actually staying with, who Vasudeva is Nandagopa is taking care of, right? Rohini, who is there. So he inquires about the welfare of everybody, and then he says, "Hey, I heard that a boy has been born to you, right?" And then Vasudeva says, "You know what? The birth of this boy to you, I feel happy as if a boy has been born to me." So he says that Bhatripad saying that way he's attributing, he's able to see Vasudeva knows, he's the only one who knows here, and he's so happy that he's got a boy as well, Krishna as well, right? But he wants to attribute now, of course, to Nandagopa, who is taking care of the child. She says, I'm feeling so ecstatic, as if I myself have got a child. Now your child is like my child to me as well. So I'm also extremely happy, and he's inquiring about the child as well. Ai sakhe tava balaka janma mam, put a plus, sukayatedya nijatmaja janmavat. Nija atma, as if it's my own. So nijatmaja janmavat. Iti bhavat pitrutam vraja nayake, comma, samadhi ropya shashamsa tamadarat. Ayi sakhe tava balaka janma mam sukayatitya nijatmaja janmavate. Iti bhavat pitrutam vrajanayake samadhiropya shashamsa tamadarat.
अयि सखे तव बालक जन्म मां सुखयतेऽद्य निजात्मज जन्मवत् इति भवत् पितृतां व्रजनायके समधिरोप्य शशंस तमादरात् अयि सखे तव बालक जन्म मां सुखयतेऽद्य निजात्मज जन्मवत् इति भवत् पितृतां व्रजनायके समधिरोप्य शशंस तमादरात्
अयि सखे तव बालक जन्म मां सुखयतेऽद्य निजात्मज जन्मवत् इति भवत् पितृतां वज्रनायके समधिरोप्य शशंस तमादरात्.
Third line, vrajanayake.
व्रजनायके, thanks. अयि सखे तव बालक जन्म मां सुखयतेऽद्य निजात्मज जन्मवत् इति भवत् पितृतां वज्रनायके समधिरोप्य शशंस तमादरात्.
Vraja, you're saying Vajra, it's Vraja. That word is going to come for the next 30 chapters. Vraja is referring to the people, the cowherd people of Gokulam, so it's Vraja.
Okay. Vrajanayake.
Yeah.
I will keep
So
in mind.
that word Vraja in the north, it's become like in the north when you go, the Va becomes a Ba. They just kind of in the colloquial way, right? So they say Brindavan, they say Brindavan also, right? Similarly, the Vraja in the north, they say Braja, Brijvasis, right? You'll say if you go to Mathura, Brindavan, that area, they say Briju, they'll say. Brij is referring to Braj. That is a root word of it. Braja is referring to that area where all the people who cowherds lived, right? That's that area.
Okay. Thanks.
Stanza 3. Iha cha santya nimitta shatani te katakasimni tato lagughamyata iti cha tad vachasa vrajanayako bhavadapaya biha dhrutamayayo. So Vasudeva says, to Nandagopa that, listen, I'm hearing all these news, right, in Mathura right now, that Kamsa along with his emissaries are going to be going around killing all these children and everything, and there are bad omens everywhere, right? He says, and because he knows what's going to be happening, that Kamsa is looking out to, Kamsa realized, right, that this 8th child is still there somewhere. So Kamsa is looking out, but he can't say that to Nandagopa. So he says in a different way, you please go back, because you being away from home is not good. There are going to be bad omens everywhere. So you please rush back to Gokulam, because you have a newborn baby and you should not be leaving that baby alone. So he's kind of rushing Vasudeva through this. Iha cha santya nimitta shatani te, comma, kataka simni tato laghu gamyatam iti cha tad vachasa vrajanayako, comma, bhavadapaya bhiya drutamayayo. Iha cha santya nimitta shatani te katakasimni tato laghugamyata iti cha tat vachasa vrajanayako bhavadapaya bhiya drutamayayo.
इह च सन्त्य निमित्त शतानि ते कटकसीम्नि ततो लघुगम्यताम् इति च तद्वचसा व्रजनायको भवदपाय भिया धृतमाययौ. इह च सन्त्य निमित्त शतानि ते कटकसीम्नि ततो लघुगम्यताम् इति च तद्वचसा व्रजनायको भवदपाय भिया धृतमाययौ.
इह च सन्त्यनिमित्तशतानि ते कटकसिंनि ततो लघुगम्यताम् इति च तद्वच व्रजनायको भवदपायिभियादृतमाययौ इह च सन्त्यनिमित्तशतानि ते कटकसिंनि ततो लघुगम्यताम् इति च तद्वचा व्रजनायको भवदपायिभियादृतमाययौ.
So go to the third line, I think some word you're saying different. Iti cha tat vachasa vrajanayak.
Iti cha tadvacha. I think I'm
Vachasa.
missing a va.
No, vachasa. I think you're missing the sa.
Oh,
Vachasa.
vachasa. Iti cha tadvacha chasa. I'm concentrating Vraja.
Yeah. Iti cha tad vachasa vrajanayako.
Iti cha tadvacha tadvachasa vrajanayako.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Stanza 4. Don't worry, Vraja is going to come in every stanza, so you'll get used to it. Stanza 4. Avasare khalu tatra chakachana prajapade madura kritirangana tarala षट्पद lalita kuntala kapata potakate nikatam gata. So well, Nandagopal is telling Vasudeva to rush back in Mathura. So back in Gokulam now, suddenly one in the morning, very beautiful woman is appearing there, and she's having this all long hair. She's smelling good. She's looking very beautiful, and she's very well dressed and very well poised. And she's now beginning to approach that area. And then she approaches your house, O Krishna, you who is kapata potakate, you who is disguised in the form of a child. That's what Bhattacharya says. Who is in the form of a child? So she begins to approach you in Gokulam right now. Avasare khalu tatra cha kachana, comma, vrajapade madhurakritir angana, if you want to break it, madhurakritir angana, tharala षट्पद lalita kuntala, comma, kapata potaka te nikatam gata. Avasare khalu tatra cha kachana vrajapade madhurakritirangana tarala षट्पद lalita kuntala kapata potaka te nikatam gata.
अवसरे खलु तत्र च काचन व्रजपदे मधुराकृतिरङ्गना तरलषट्पदलालितकुन्तला कपटपोतकते निकटं गता अवसरे खलु तत्र च काचन व्रजपदे मधुराकृतिरङ्गना तरलषट्पदलालितकुन्तला कपटपोतकते निकटं गता.
Shrita Guru, that first line, that kachana is there's no R at the end. It's just kachana. Okay.
Avasare khalu tatra cha kachana vrajapade madhura kritirangana tarala षट्पद lali kuntala kapata potakate nikatam gata.
Ushakar, even you also, that first line, you're saying kachana. Kachana. There's no R at the end there, right?
Avasare khalu tatra cha kachana vrajapade madhura kritirangana tarala षट्पद lalita kuntala kapata potakate nikatam gata.
Stanza 5. Sapadi sahrita balaka chetana nishicharan vayaja kila putana vrajavadushvihakeyamiti kshanam vimrishatishu bhavantam upadade. So this Putana, who was actually born in this clan of demons, so for her, killing children is not like a first time thing. She's done it several times. So she knows exactly how to go approach this, how to go get to the child, how to trick everybody, and how to eventually kill the children also. So it's not the first time she's doing it. So she kind of has it now to a science, right? Like they say. So she very naturally approached it. Only if you're committing crime for a first time, you are conscious of who is looking and what is happening. But if you've done it like hundreds of times, you know exactly how to do it. So she very confidently approaches in there. And all these Braja people are all sitting there, all the Gopikas are sitting there, but she approaches very casually and very easily lifts the child and then tries to play with the child, right? So she very casually lifts it so that nobody questions her, and everything is looking very normal. Sapadi sa krita balaka chetana. This is na, okay? Balaka chetana, comma. Nishicharan vayaja kila putana. Braja vadushviha keyamiti kshanam, comma. Vimrushatishu bhavantam upadade. Sapadi sahrita bhalaka chetana nishicharan vayaja kila putana brajavadushviha keyamiti kshanam vimrushatishu bhavantam upadade.
Sapadi sahrita balaka chetana nishicharanvayajaa kila putana brajavadushvihakeyamiti kshanam vimrushati shubhavantamupadade. Sapadi sahrita balaka chetana nishicharanvayajaa kila putana brajavadushvihakeyamiti kshanam vimrushati shubhavantamupadade.
सपदि साहृत बालक चेतना निशिचरान्वयजा किल पूतना व्रजवधूषिह केयमित क्षणं विमृशतीषु भवन्तुमुपाददे सपदि साहृत बालक चेतना निशिचरान्वयजा किल पूतना व्रजवधूषिह केयमित क्षणं विमृशतीषु भवन्तुमुपाददे
Bhavantam upadade.
भवन्तमुपाददे
Stanza 6. Lalita bhava vilasa hritatmabhiryuvatibih pratirodhumaparita stanamasau bhavananta nishedushi pradadushi bhavate kapatatmane. So although this is all these gopikas, everybody sitting in that room with Yashoda, Rohini is sitting there, Balarama is there as a child, Krishna is there as a child. But when the stranger woman approaches and nobody stops her, because the stranger approaches and she remains very silent, she's coming in and she's in a very poised way, she lifts the child and starts treating the child as if she's a mother, because mothers know how to handle newborn babies. So the way she's treating, all of them seem to wonder, what, maybe she's also a mother, maybe she also has a newborn child, she knows how to treat this child, and very gracefully she's captivating the minds of all the gopikas who are there, who don't stop her, because nothing looks suspicious. She's very natural in how she does this, and with that she sits, and then she takes the baby, and then she suddenly starts to breastfeed the baby. So even then people are not suspicious, they think something is going wrong, but nobody wants to go stop, because they think it's all so natural that it's all happening in a flash, and she's also very calm about it. And in Bhagavatam they say what she essentially did is that she's essentially taking it as if you take a sleeping snake and you put it on your lap. That's what Putana is doing. She lifts you now and puts you in your lap, about to breastfeed Krishna. Sapadi sa Lalita bhava vilasa hritatmabhir, and then put a plus, hritatmabhir yuvati bihi, put a f there, yuvati bif pratirodhuma parita, pratirodhum aparita, but you can say it together, pratirodhuma parita stanamasau bhavananta nishedushi, comma pradadushi bhavate kapatatmane. Lalita bhava vilasa hritatmabhiryuvatibih pratirodhumaparita stanamasau bhavananta nishedushi pradadushi bhavate kapatatmane.
Lalita bhava vilasa hrutatmabhiryuvatibhih pratirodhuma parita stanamasau bhavananta nishedushi pradadushi bhavate kapatatmane. Lalita bhava vilasa hrutatmabhiryuvatibhih pratirodhuma parita stanamasau bhavananta nishedushi pradadushi bhavate kapatatmane.
ललित भाव विलास हुतात्मभिर्युवतिभिः ललित भाव विलास हुतात्मभिर्युवतिभिः प्रतिरोधुमपारिता तनमसौ भवनान्तनिषेदुषी प्रदुदुषि भवते कपटात्मने ललितभावविलासवृतात्मभिर्युवतिभिः प्रतिरोधुमपारिता तनमसौ भवनान्तनिषेदुषि प्रदुदुषि भवते कपटात्मने. Sorry, so much.
You got it. Stanza 7. समधिरुह्य तदङ्कमशङ्कितस्त्वमतभालकलोपनरोषितः महदिवाम्रफलं कुचमण्डलं प्रतिचुचूषितदुर्विषदूषितम्. So Putana, right, they explain essentially she's a very cruel person, but she's very affectionate. She looks very affectionate from the outside. So it is like something which is very sharp inside, but then very soft on the outside. So although she's within the room, like we said, Yashoda, Rohini, they're all so overwhelmed by her looks, from her behavior, that they don't stop her and they remain silent for a second. So, but what Putana does, she takes the baby and then she has her breasts are smeared with poison, right? So she takes the baby and then she starts to breastfeed the baby. And then Krishna then starts to accept that also. He says, okay, you want to breastfeed me? I'll give you that blessing as well, right? So Krishna then starts to drink milk from her. So at that time, what happens is Putana suddenly starts to scream. So that's what is happening here. We'll see what happens next later. But Putana suddenly starts to scream big time. She was very calm and composed, but now she's beginning to scream. Samadhiruhya tad ankam ashankita. If you want to break it into three, but you can say it together. Tadankam ashankitas, and then put a plus. So any questions, Jyota Garu? Oh,
No.
okay. Tadankam ashankitas, and then put a plus. Tvamata balaka lopana roshitaha mahadi vamra phalam kucha mandalam, comma, prati chuchushita durvisha dushitam. Samadiruhya tadankamasankitastvamatabhalakalopanarositaha mahadivamraphalam kuchamandalam pratichuchushita durvishadushitam.
समतिरुह्य तदङ्कमशङ्कितस्त्वमतबालकलोपनरोषितः महदिवाम्रफलं कुचमण्डलं प्रतिचुचूषितदुर्विषदूषितम् समधिरुह्य तदङ्कमशङ्कितस्त्वमतबालकलोपनरोषितः महदिवाम्रफलं कुचमण्डलं प्रतिचुचूषितदुर्विषदूषितम्
समधिरुह्य तदङ्कमशङ्कितस्त्वमदबालकलोपनरोषितः महदिवाम्रफलं कुचमण्डलं प्रतिचुचूषितदुर्विषदूषितम् समधिरुह्य तदङ्कमशङ्कितस्त्वमदबालकलोपनरोषितः महदिवाम्रफलं कुचमण्डलं प्रतिचुचूषितदुर्विषदूषितम्.
Okay, we'll just switch halfway. And Lata, you can be a student, and Srividya, you can be a student. Stanza 8. Asubhirev samam dhayate tvahi stanamasaw stanitopamanesvana nirapatad bhayadayi nijam vapuhu pratigata pravisarya bhujavubhau. So now, when Krishna now starts, drinking, or he starts to suck on the breast. So what happens at that time is her prana vayu itself goes away. So she's trying to offer milk, but however her entire life prana goes away, and now once she loses her vital breath, so she now takes on her nijam vapuhu, her actual form. And the actual form of hers is a very ghoram form, which is going to come in the 41st chapter anyways. So what we'll also see in all of these Dasakams that we're going to see in Krishna Avataram is everybody comes disguised or in the form of something else. And then the moment their life goes away, or when the moment their everything is gone, then they actually take the Nijam, the original form. They actually end up revealing the original form. So here also same thing happens. So Putana now reveals her original form, and then she's massive in size, because they say when she now falls to the ground, so she starts yelling and screaming, and she falls to the ground. She covers and she damages trees several miles together. She damages the trees and everything, because that is her massive size. So she falls with her arms and legs stretched, and she completely falls on the ground and reveals her original form. So Asubhireva samam dhayati tvai, short e, comma, stanamasau stanitopama niswana nirapatat bhayadayi nijam vapuhu, comma, pratigata pravisarya bujabubhau. असुभिरेव समं धयते त्वहि स्तनमसौ स्तनितोपमनिस्वना निरपतद्भयदायि निजं वपुः प्रतिगता प्रविसार्य भुजाबुभौ.
असुभिरेव समं दयति त्वयि स्तनमसौ स्तनितोपमनिस्वना निरपतद्भयदायि निजं वपुः प्रतिगता प्रविसार्य भुजाबुभौ. असुभिरेव समं दयति त्वयि स्तनमसौ स्तनितोपमनिस्वना निरपतद्भयदायि निजं वपुः प्रतिगता प्रविसार्य भुजाबुभौ.
असुभिरेव समं धयित्वयि स्तनमसौ स्तनितोपमनिस्वना निरपतद्भयदायि निजवपुः प्रतिगता प्रविसार्य भुजाबुभौ. असुभिरेव समं धयित्वयि स्तनमसौ स्तनितोपमनिस्वना निरपतद्भयदायि निजवपुः प्रतिगता प्रविसार्य भुजाबुभौ.
And the fourth line, third line, nijam vapuhu. Okay, im sound comes.
Nijam vapuhu.
Yeah. Answer 9. Bhayada ghoshana bhishana vigraha shravana darshana mohita vallave vrajapade tadurasthala kelanam nanubhavantam agrinnata gopikaha. So now when Putana falls, right? So this says not only there was, first of all, there's a terrific sound that came, because first of all she was also yelling and screaming when she crashed, and when she crashed she also broke a lot of trees and everything, because that was her massive size. Because in the 41st chapter they'll talk about how they could not take Putana's body for cremation. It was so massive that they all had to actually cut her pieces of body into pieces to take it. That's how massive the size was. So anyway, she comes crashing down. So that also creates a lot of noise. So the Gopas who are there, the Gopikas who are there, they first hear some loud, thunderous, crashing noise of everything. They see somebody yelling, hear somebody yelling, and then they also see the Bhayada. They also see a very ferocious form of Putana who's actually lying there. And then of course, naturally, they're all concerned of what has happened to Krishna, because she was holding Krishna last. But then they rush, and then the gopis rush, and then they see Krishna playing on her chest, or he's lying on her chest. So that's where they go, and then they pick Krishna from there. Bhayada ghoshana bhishana vigraha, and then put a plus, shravana darshana mohita vallave. So those two lines are together. Brajapade taduraha, put is taduras sthala kelanam, comma, nanu bhavantam agrinnata. If you want to break it, nanu bhavantam agrinnata gopikaha. Bhayada ghoshana bhishana vigraha shravana darshana mohita vallave brajapade tadurasthala kelanam nanu bhavantam agrinnata gopikaha.
भयदघोषण भीषण विग्रह श्रवण दर्शन मोहित वल्लवे व्रजपदे तदुरस्थलकेलनं ननु भवन्तमगृह्णत गोपिकाः. भयदघोषण भीषण विग्रह श्रवण दर्शन मोहित वल्लवे व्रजपदे तदुरस्थलकेलनं ननु भवन्तमगृह्णत गोपिकाः.
भयतघोषण भीषण विग्रह श्रवण दर्शन मोहितवल्लभे वृजपते तदुरस्थले केलनं ननुभवन्त अहृणत गोपिकाः
Bhavantam agrinnat.
ननुभवन्तम् अहृणत
And the ich is like a half ha, right? So nanubhavantam agrihnata.
अहृणत गोपिकाः
Yeah, that h is like a half sound there. Agrihnata. Yeah.
अगृह्णत गोपिकाः भयदघोषण भीषण विग्रह श्रवण दर्शन मोहितवल्लभे व्रजपते तदुरस्थले केलनं ननुभवन्तम् अगृह्णद गोपिकाः
10. भुवनमङ्गलनामभिरेवते युवतिभिर्बहुधा कृतरक्षणः त्वमैवातनिकेतननाथमाम् अगदयन् कुरु तावकसेवकम्. So again it says, you who Bhuvana Mangala, you who confers auspiciousness on the entire three worlds. So for you, all these Gopas and Gopikas say your own names and then chant their protection. There's a very nice 10 stanzas that the Gopikas actually chant, like it's like a kavacham. They chant of saying how each of the body parts of the baby be protected by the various forms of the Lord, kind of like a Narayana kavacham they chant there. So he says they are saying your own names, so Krishna, to protect you itself. And with that, they also wash the baby with the cow urine, right, which is supposed to be very which helpful to kill all the bacteria and everything. So anyway, they clean the baby because they're worried what happened to the baby now. So with that, they take care of you, Krishna. So please take care of, eradicate all the ailments and make me more of your devotee as well. So with that, this 40 comes to an end. Bhuvana Mangala Namabhireva Te, Yuvatibhir Bahuda Krita Rakshanaha Twamai Vata Niketana Nata Mam. So that ma, that is there, you put a im and a comma. Next line, next word starts with the a. Agadayan Kuru Tavaka Sevakam. Bhuvana Mangala Namabhirevate Yuvatibhir Bahuda Krita Rakshanaha Twamaivata Niketananatamam Agadayan Kurutavaka Sevakam.
भुवनमङ्गलनामभिरेवते युवतिभिर्बहुधा कृतरक्षणः त्वमयि वात निकेतननाथ मां अगदयन् कुरुतावकसेवकम्. भुवनमङ्गलनामभिरेवते युवतिभिर्बहुधा कृतरक्षणः त्वमयि वात निकेतननाथ माम् अगदयन् कुरुतावकसेवकम्.
भुवनमङ्गलनामभिरेवते युवतिभिर्बहुधा कृतरक्षणः त्वमैवाधनिकेतननाद माम् अकथयन् गुरुतावकसेवकम्. भुवनमङ्गलनामभिरेवते युवतिभिर्बहुधा कृतरक्षणः त्वमैवाधनिकेतननाद माम् अकथयन् गुरुतावकसेवकम्.
Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. So all the Dasakams in the 40s are all very small Dasakams. So typically we'll be able to cover 2 every week, right? Or at least close to 2. So we'll continue with the 44 today. So 44 is Jata Karma Namakarana Varnanam. So Namakarana is naming ceremony. And Jata Karma is when you're born, they kind of do your initial, what is going to be happen, all the horoscope that they do. So that is this chapter, that is 44. So this chapter, or some chapters like this, you'll see they are like 2 lines, at least in my book, there are 2 lines. But then the tune of these, it's not the 2-liner tune, it's a 4-liner tune. So it will be a little difficult for you to get used to it, but once you get it, it'll become like normal, right? So just, maybe you'll find it a little awkward saying it in that tune, but so stanza 1. Gudham vasudeva gira kartum te nishkriyasya samskaran Hridgata tatvo gargamunihi twadgriham vibho gatavan. So we saw Putana thing happening in 40 and it also happens in 41. Then in addition to that, in 42, there's something called as a Sakatasura, which is Krishna is lying. Yashoda just drops Krishna there very briefly. He's a small baby, right? And then there is a cart, right, which is there with all the things. And the baby's feet touches that cart, and that entire cart actually shakes and the entire cart crashes. And there's another Asura called Sakatasura. So that happens in 42. Then 43 is Trinavarta, which is he comes in the form of a tornado and takes the baby away. And then that Asura also dies. So that is also happening in 43. Now you have to imagine you are like all of you are moms here, right? So your baby is 3 months old and all these incidents have happened around your house. So naturally Yashoda is freaking out as well. So is Nanda Gopa, right? Saying how is all these things suddenly begin to happen, and somehow the baby is miraculously escaping all these things. They have no idea what is happening, right? So anyways, all of this is happening. Krishna is about 3 months old right now. That is when this now the Namakaranam is going to happen. So Bhattacharya says, you who is beyond all this, right? For you, Krishna, all these rituals and astronomy, astrology, none of this applies to you. You're way beyond all of these things, right? However, there's what Vasudeva, who is part of the Yadava clan. So he realizes that something is not going right. So what he does is he invites Garga Muni is an expert in astrology, astronomy for the Yadavas. He's one of their Yadava Rishi, he is, right? And he's also written Garga Samhita. He has written a lot of scripts and everything. So Vasudeva sends this Garga in a very secret way to Nandagopa's house. He says to Garga, you go to Nandagopa's house, don't, and then go and do this Jada Karma, do some blessings for the boy who is there. So that's how the Garga Muni actually ends up coming here. So Gudham Vasudeva Gira, Kartum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran, Hrid Gata Hora Tatvo Garga Munihi. So that is there, remove it, put a Visarga, Garga Munihi Tvad Griham Vibho Gatavan. Gudham Vasudeva Gira Kartum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran Hridgata Hora Tatvo Garga Munihi Twadgriham Vibho Gatavan.
Gudam Vasudeva Gira. Rajesh, can you repeat the first line one more time?
Gudham Vasudeva Gira Kartum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran.
Okay. Gudam Vasudeva Gira Kartum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran Hradgata Ghora Tatvo Garga Munihi Twadgriham Vibho Gatavan. Gudam Vasudeva Gira Kartum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran Hridgata Hora Tatvo Garga Munihi Twadgriham Vibho Gatavan.
Gudam Vasudeva Gira Kardhum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran Hridgata Hora Tatvo Gargamunihi Twadgriham Vibho Gatavan. Gudam Vasudeva Gira Kardhum te Nishkriyasya Samskaran Hridgata Hora Tatvo Gargamunihi Twadgriham Vibho Gatavan.
So within the second time, I think you paused after Kartumte, but first time it was right. After Vasudeva Gira, there's a pause, okay, in the first line.
Okay.
Yeah. Stanza 2. Nandhota Nandithatma Vrindishtam Manayannamum Yaminam Mandasmidabdramuche Twatsamskaran Vidhatumutsukathi. So when Nanda and others, Yashoda, saw Gargamuni come, so the moment you looked at Gargamuni, they realized he's some great soul, right? Because some people you look and say, you know what, they are definitely blessed, they are so pious, and so they realize some great person has come, right? And then they of course welcome him and everything, and then they go tell Gargamuni, like you look like somebody who knows everything, right? And she said, we had all these inauspicious things which have been happening in the house. We have small baby, and this baby somehow has managed to survive everything. And also Balarama is also there, who's slightly older than Krishna, and they have not done this Namakaranam or Jata Karma for Balarama or for Krishna or any of those things, because they're all cowherds, right? So they're all very ordinary people. So they say, you all look like a very saintly person, so we please request that you actually bless our children, right? And then please do their Jata Karma also, do their Nama Karma also, and please do some religious rites to bless the children, right? So nothing happens to them. So Nandota Nanditatma, Vrindishtam Manayannamum Yaminam Manda Smitardram Uche, Tvat Samskaran Vidhatum Utsukadihi. If you want to break it, Vidhatum Utsukadihi. Nandota Nanditatma Vrindishtam Manayannamum Yaminam Mandasmitadramuche Tvatsamskaran Vidhatumutsukadehi.
Nandota Nanditatma Vrindishtam Manayannamum Yamina Mandasmitadramuche Tvatsamskaran Vidhatumutsukadihi.
Utsukadihi.
Mutsukadihi. Nandota Nanditatma Vrindishtam Manayannamum Yaminam Mandasmitardramuche Tvatsamskaran Vidhatumutsukadihi.
Nandota Nanditatma Vrindishtam Mayanayannamum Yaminam Mantasmithatramuche Samskaran Vidhatumutsukadehi. Nandota Nandidatma Vrindishtam Mayanayannamum Yaminam Mantasmithatramuche Samskaran Vidhatumutsukadehi.
That's a 3. Yaduvamshacharyatvat sunibhritamidam adya karyamiti katayan gargo nirgata pulakah chakre tavasagrajasya namani. So this Yadukula, because the one who is the priest of the Yadava dynasty, Garga, is saying this Kamsa is not only a very sinful person, he's also a very diplomatic person, because he's a king, right? So he knows how to handle things, and he says he knows that Vasudeva has had a 8th child who's been a boy. Somehow he saw a girl. When he tried to kill that girl said, your killer has already been born. So he's been on the lookout for all these children. And he says, you Nandagopa, you are not part of the Yadava clan. So when I, who's part of the Yadava clan of Vasudeva's Yadavas, comes to your house and wants to do Jatakaranam and Namakaranam, very easy for Kamsa to put 1 and 1 together, saying this Vasudeva's child is what is here, right? So he will be able to identify that, and he doesn't reveal anything, but he says, but he'll be able to put this together, and then your son will be at harm. So he says, whatever I am going to do has to be kept utmost secret, and nobody should be notified about this. So immediately Nanda says, absolutely, because he doesn't want to do anything which is going to harm his child. So he says, I'm not going to call any of my relatives, no Gopas, no Gopikas, nobody. We are going to go to my cow shed, and in secrecy, we'll do the Namakaranam and Jatakaranam of both Balarama and Krishna. With that, Nandagopa says, you go to the cow shed, we'll keep silent, you just do it and leave. That's it, right? So with that, Nirgata Pulakaha. So now Garga Muni is having horripilation all over his body, because he knows who this is, right? And he's going to say later also. So he's getting horripilation because he's now going to do the Namakaranam for this baby. So Yadu Vamshacharyatvat. So you can see Yadu Vamsha Acharya, but it comes together. Yadu Vamshacharyatvat, Suni Bhritam Idam Arya Karyamiti Katayan Gargo Nirgata Pulakaha. So that ish that you have there, put a visarga and comma, remove that. Chakre tava sagrajasya namani. Yaduvamshacharyatvat sunibhritamidam arya karyamiti katayan gargo nirgata pulakaha chakre tava sagrajasya namani.
Yaduvamshacharyatvat Sunibhritamidhamarya karyamiti katayan Gargo nirgata pulakah Chakre tava sagrajasya namani. यदुवंशाचार्यत्वात् सुनिवृतमिदमार्य कार्यमिति कथयन् गर्गो निर्गतपुलकः चक्रे तव साग्रजस्य नामानि
यदुवंसाचार्यत्वात् शुनिभृतमिदम् आर्यकार्यमिति कथयन् गर्गो पुलकः चक्रे दवशाक्रजस्य नामानि यदुवंसाचार्यत्वात् शुनिभृतमिदम् आर्यकार्यमिति कथयन् गर्गो निर्गतपुलकः चक्रे दवशाक्रजस्य नामानि.
Some support. कतमस्य नाम कुर्वे सहस्रनाम्नो ह्यनन्तनाम्नो वा इति नूनं गर्गमुनिः चक्रे तव नाम रहसि विभो. So anyway, Garga came here for this purpose only. He wanted to do the Jatakaranam, Namakaranam. But if he just walks in and says, I want to do this, then people in Nandagopa also will get very suspicious, right? So he kind of, he got what he wanted to accomplish because Nandagopa himself is requesting him. So then Garga is saying, how Katamasya Nama, how can I name this boy who has Sahasra Namno, who has thousands of names already? What name can I give this boy, right? And like even in Vishnu Sahasranamam, right, you know, it says that one stanza comes, right, Yani namani gaunani vikyatani mahatmanah rishibhih parigitani tani bakshyami bhutaye. So Bhishma says, see, I cannot say, you cannot tell me say 1,000 names and all, because this Lord has thousands of names, but I am going to pick the select 1,000 names which Rishibhih Parigitani, which the great rishis themselves say these 1,000 names, and those are the 1,000 names that I am going to say. That's what Bhishma says, right? And now Garga says, yeah, the Lord has thousands of names. Of course, Vishnu Sahasranamam was not written then, but then, or compiled then, but again, the Lord still has names. Those are still known. And Garga says, for a child who has thousands of names, what name am I going to give? So he is beginning to contemplate himself, right? And then with a lot of secrecy, he then comes up with a name. Katamasya nama kurve, comma, sahasra namno henanta namno va iti noonam garga munihi. Again, that ish, you put a visarga, comma, chakre tava nama rahasi vibho. Katamasya nama kurve sahasra namno henanta namno va iti noonam garga munihi chakre tava nama rahasi vibho.
कतमस्य नाम कुर्वे सहस्रनाम्नो ह्यनन्तनाम्नो वा इति नूनं गर्गमुनिः चक्रे तव नाम रहसि विभो. कतमस्य नाम कुर्वे सहस्रनाम्नो ह्यनन्तनाम्नो वा इति नूनं गर्गमुनिः चक्रे तव नाम रहसि विभो.
कथमस्य नाम कुर्वे सहस्रनाम्नो ह्यनन्तनाम्नो वा इति नूनं गर्गमुनिः चक्रे तव नाम रहसि विभो. कथमस्य नाम कुर्वे सहस्रनाम्नो ह्यनन्तनाम्नो वा इति नूनं गर्गमुनिः चक्रे तव नाम रहसि विभो.
Stanza 5. कृषिधातु नकाराभ्यां सत्तानन्दात्मतां किलाभिलपते जगदगकर्षित्वं वा कथयदृशिः कृष्णनामते व्यतनोत्. She says, what is the core essence of this baby? The core essence of this baby is, it is absolute bliss, right? The state of constant bliss, not just happiness, because happiness is tied to something. So this is a constant bliss, and it is always there. It's persistent bliss. So that is the name I'm going to give. So he says he's combining two words. See, the important thing that Sanskrit relates is Putana. When we said in the first, the 40, it is the na. So that means no, right? This is Krishna. So that is a na. So that na means completely different meaning. It is essentially bliss, or the one that gives you happiness, right? That is the when it's added as a suffix to it. So Krishir is referring to earth, because that is from the one who plows the earth is the Krisan, right? So that is the root word is Krish. So that Krishi, it stands for earth. So Krishir and Na becomes Krishna. He says the one who gives eternal happiness or bliss to people on earth. So that is the name Krishna that comes. And Kris also stands for existence, just regular existence. And Na is again bliss. So one who gives bliss to anything that exists. That's the word Krishna. So with that combination, Krishna and then Garga Muni then gives you the name of Krishna, which is combination of these two words together, and that is how you get your Krishna Namate Vyatanot. You then get the name of Krishna from Garga Muni. Krishi dhatu na karabhyam, sattanandatmatam kila bhilapat jagadaga karshitvam va kataya drishihi, Krishna nama te vyatanot. Krishi dhatu nakarabhyam sattanandatmatam kila bhilapate jagadaga karshitvam va kataya drishihi Krishna namate vyatanut.
Krishidhatu nakarabhyam sattanandatmatam kila bilapat jagadaga karshitvam va kataya drishihi Krishna namate vyatanot. Krishidhatu nakarabhyam sattanandatmatam kila bilapat jagadaga karshitvam va kataya drishihi Krishna namate vyatanot.
Krishitaduna Karabhyam Sattanandatmadham Kilavilavat Jagadaga Karshitvam Va Kadayat Trushihi Krishna Namadhe Vetanot. Krishitaduna Karabhyam Sattanandatmadham Kilavilavat Jagadaga Karshitvam Va Kadayat Trushihi Krishna Namadhe Vedanot.
6. Anyamscha nama bhedan vyakurvannagraje charamadhin atimanushanubhavam nyagadatvam aprakashayan pitre. Now he comes to the other child who is there, because none of the childs are named, right? So we can't name the child yet. So the child is there. So he says this child of Rohini, he says he's first of all, he's got this transcendental qualities. He's going to be like an, he's not a normal human, and he's going to give happiness to everybody around. And because of his supernatural qualities, he's going to be called as Rama. And when he grows up, he's also going to become extremely powerful and strong. So Bala. So that's how he says. So his name becomes Balarama. So the one who gives happiness to everybody, and one who is also supernatural, superhuman qualities, and who is very strong. So that's the name Balarama that is actually given to him. And plus he says he is also going to unite the families of Vasudeva, the Yashoda, Nandagopa, as well as Rohini, all of them. He's kind of a connection between Vasudeva them also. So he also gets the name of Sankarshana. So if you remember in the 21st chapter, 21st chapter, I think, when we did all the other regions, right? The Sankarshana name comes there as well. So anyway, he is also given the name of Sankarshana. And then Garga comes to Krishna and says, this son of yours, he has taken several births like everybody else, right? He has taken several births before. And he then says, but nobody knows, right, how many births this child has taken, what all he has done, right? And he says he talks about the superhuman nature of you, the glory of Krishna, without, just short of revealing, here Bhattacharya also says, just short of revealing that you are Hari himself, you are Narayana himself. Garga Muni just doesn't say that. He doesn't say you are an avataram. Just short of saying that, he talks about all your greatness, how you have taken several births and all the great things you have done. And he's going to continue saying the next stanzas as well. So Anyamsha Nama Bhedan, Vyakurvan Nagraje Cha Ramadin Ati Manushanubhavam, Nyagadat Twam Aprakashayan. If you can break that word into three parts if you want. Nyagadat Twam Aprakashayan Pitre. Anyamscha nama bhedan vyakurvannagraje cha ramadin अतिमानुषानुभावं जगदत्वामप्रकाशयन् पित्रे
अन्यांश नाम भेदान् व्याकुर्वन्नग्रजे चरामादीन् अतिमानुषानुभावं जगदत्वामप्रकाशयन् पित्रे अन्यांश नाम भेदान् व्याकुर्वन्नग्रजे चरामादीन् अतिमानुषानुभावं जगदत्वामप्रकाशयन् पित्रे
अन्यांश नाम भेदान् व्याकुर्वन्नग्रेज शरामादीन् अधिमानुषानुभावं जगदत्वां प्रकाशयन् पित्रे.
And the second line or the first line, Vyakurvan, see it's Vyakurvan Agraje. Okay, two different words. But
Vyakurvan Agraje. Okay.
Yeah, but when the in and a comes, it automatically becomes an in and a na. Okay, when it flows together. So Vyakurvan Agraje. To say it together, you won't see the difference. Yeah.
Okay. Look. Anyam cha nama vedan व्याकुर्वन्नग्रजे शरामादीन् अधिमानुषानुभावं न्यकदत्वां प्रकाशयन् पित्रे.
Stanza 7. स्निह्यति यस्तव पुत्रे मुह्यति स न मायिकैः पुनः शोकैः द्रुह्यति यः स तु नश्येत् इत्यवदत्ते महत्त्वं ऋषिवर्यः. I'm sure all of you know Rajinikanth, and since I'm a fan, I'll quote one of his things. So he tells in one movie, I'll say it in Tamil and I'll translate in English. He said, Nallavanukku nallavan, kettavanukku kettavan, something like that he says. He says, the people who are nice, I am the best, I'm the nicest of persons. For the person who is not nice, I am your worst enemy, right? That's what Rajinikanth says in one movie. So simply Gargamuni says something, or Rajinikanth is repeating what Gargamuni says. Gargamuni says, Snihyati yastava putre, the people who love your child, who always worship your child, who take care of him, they are not going to have any sorrows because he's going to remove all the maya for them and they are not going to be bound by any sorrows. However, anyone who is causing sorrows to your child, they are always going to be struggling even more, right? It's going to makes it worse for them. So that's how he says, whoever supports you and worships your child is always going to prevail, and that is the greatness of your child, right? And with that, he describes your glory and greatness as well. So, snihyati yastava putre, comma, muhyati sana mayikaihi, put a F, mayikaif, punaha, put a ish, punashokaihi, druhyati, yaha, put a is, yes, satu, nashyet. So the D that you have there, we're going to break it. You put a it first, nashyet, comma. Next word starts with the E. Ityavadatte mahatvam rishi varyaha. So again, this word has got two parts there. Mahatvam rishi varyaha. We can also say the same whole thing together. Mahatvam rishi varyaha. Snihyati yastava putre muhyati sana mayikaif punashokaihi druhyati yassatu nashyet ityavadatte mahatvam rishivaryah.
स्निह्यति यस्तव पुत्रे मुह्यति सनमायिकैः पुनः शोकैः द्रुह्यति यस्य तु नश्येत् इत्यवदत्ते महत्वं ऋषिवर्यः. right?
Mahatvam rishivaryah. Okay, but when you say it together, you can just say it Mahatvam rishivaryah. You can say it in one word as well.
ऋषिवर्यः. Okay. स्निह्यति यस्तव पुत्रे मुह्यति सनमायिकैः पुनः शोकैः द्रुह्यति यस्य तु नश्येत् इत्यवदत्ते महत्वं ऋषिवर्यः.
स्निह्यति यस्तव पुत्रे मुह्यति शनमायिकैः पुनः शोकैः द्रुह्यति यस्य तु नश्येत् इत्यवदत्ते महत्वं ऋषिवर्यः. स्निह्यति यस्तव पुत्रे मुह्यति शनमायिकैः पुनः शोकैः द्रुह्यति यस्य तु नश्येत् इत्यवदत्ते इत्यवदत्ते महत्त्वं ऋषिवर्यः
The third line is druhyati. Dru. Okay.
दुह्यति.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just do one more stanza and stop. जेष्यति बहुतर दैत्यान् नेष्यति निज बन्धुलोकममलपदं श्रोष्यति सुविमल कीर्तिरस्येति भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे. He says, in the past, whenever asuras etc. had trouble, whenever the bad people influence goes up and the good people had to be restored, your son has taken birth in all those times to restore that. Similarly, he says, all of you are blessed because to increase the bliss of this cowherd family in Gokula, this child will always act auspiciously for you, especially for this Gokula clan. He's always going to do the right things. And he says, only because of him, you all are going to surpass all the difficulties you have, and then you'll be able to go up further, and then he will eventually lead you to liberation also. So again, he says that you'll constantly be hearing great things about your child, right? He's going to be doing great glories in the future also, and he's the one who's going to free you all, get you all liberated, right? That's how great this child is. So jeshyati bahutara daityan, neshyati nija bandhu lokam amala padam. If you want to break it, lokam amala padam. Sroshyati. Some books are shrosyasi, sa. You replace it with a ta. Sroshyati suvimala kirti rasyeti, short e, comma. Bhavat vibhutim rishi ruche. Again the same mr coming here. Bhavat vibhutim rishi ruche. जेष्यति बहुतर दैत्यान् नेष्यति निज बन्धुलोकममलपदं श्रोष्यति सुविमल कीर्तिरस्येति भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे.
जेष्यति बहुतर दैत्यान् नेष्यति निज बन्धुलोकममलपदं श्रोत्यति सुविमल कीर्तिरस्येति भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे. भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे. जेष्यति बहुतर दैत्यान् नेष्यति निज बन्धुलोकममलपदं श्रोष्यति सुविमल कीर्तिरस्येति भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे.
जेष्यति बहुतरै दैत्यान् नेष्यति निज बन्धुलोकम् अमलपदं श्रोष्यति सुविमल कीर्तिरस्येति भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे. जेष्यति बहुतरैत्यान् नेष्यति निज बन्धुलोकम् अमलपदं श्रोष्यति सुविमल कीर्तिरस्येति भवद्विभूतिं ऋषिरुचे.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. We'll end the class here. We won't have time to finish the last two. सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदेभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh garu.
Bye. Bye.